Hi, Doug Masnaghetti here with another guitar lesson. This is on Neil Young's Down by the River. This lesson, again, is organized like all my others. I do an intro here where I jabber on a bit, and then I move on to a cover, and then on to the lesson. It's very easy to distinguish those three parts, so if you want to just fast forward ahead, go for it. This song was released on Neil Young, and he used the band Crazy Horse to back him up. A 1969 album called Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere. And evidently he wrote he wrote Cinnamon Girl, and he wrote Cowgirl in the Sand, all while he had the flu in his place on Topanga Canyon, which is just outside of Los Angeles. It's an off-ramp off of the Ventura Freeway. It takes you down to Zuma Beach, by the way, which I always used to do when I was a kid living down there. He evidently was half delirious when he wrote these songs, and you know, the meaning of the song seems pretty obvious. It's a guy that kills his girlfriend. She takes him to emotional heights he can't handle, and so he kills her. Seems like that's what the song's about. So, but evidently in an interview in '69, he claimed that no, there's no violence in it. So that's a metaphor, and that it's a guy blowing it with his girlfriend. It's a cry for help. It's a desperate plea. But then in the '80s, he was interviewed again, and there he says, yeah, it was a guy who, you know, finds his girlfriend cheating on him, meets her down by the river, and kills her. So, good old Neil, gotta love him. Anyway, that's probably about all I have to say about the song. It's a song that really sort of falls into right at the boundary of beginner and intermediate, and you can push it into full-blown intermediate depending on how you play it. So I'll show a fairly simple version, but even the simplest version does involve a few bar chords, and that's what would push the simplest version of this, in my opinion, you know, closer to an intermediate kind of song. And without further ado, we'll move to the cover.
On my side, I'll be on your side, baby. There's no reason for you to hide. It's so hard for me staying here all alone when you could be taking me for a ride. much sadness is too much sorrow. It's impossible to make today.
Okay, so you either just got done watching or skipped over the cover of Neil Young's Down by the River. Either way, here you are at the lesson. So it's played in standard tuning, no capo, and the verse is comprised of just two chords. So an E minor 7, which I'm covering the 5th and the 4th string on the 2nd fret and the 2nd string on the 3rd fret. And you can see the fingers I'm using to do that, right? My index finger is out of it. You don't need to play it that way. You can, play it that way as well, where your ring finger is out of it. Whatever you're comfortable with. I just play it this way because I'd like to go into the next chord of the verse, which is an A chord, by just laying my my ring finger back. It's already there in position, right on the 4th string. And the A chord, you want to cover the 2nd frets of the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd. And I end up with the dead 1st string because of the way I play this. But it, because of the damping that you tend to do in the strumming in this song, I think the barring lends itself better than doing a full-blown open chord, which you can do, and I'm sure you can work it in just fine, but just telling you the way I play it, I guess. So that's it. The verse is, be on my side, I'll be on your side. Back to an E minor. There's no reason for you to hide. E minor again. It's so hard for me staying here all alone on an A when you could be taking me. So it's a pretty simple beat, and I'm sure you can work the lyrics in and figure out what the strumming pattern is. And when he moves into the chorus, he'll go up to a C, and I tend to slough on barring this lower E. I just let my index finger touch it to damp it. So basically you're barring the top 5 strings of your guitar on the 3rd fret, and you're introducing your ring finger and barring the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd string on the 5th fret. Right? So that's a C, and then it goes down to a B minor. And I do think I have the habit of picking up this lower E when I go down there. I'm not sure why I do that. You don't have to. You can just play it by damping that low E. And so for the B minor chord here, you're barring the top 5 strings again. You don't have to bar them all. You really only need to get this string here, your 5th string, and the 1st string, get them on the 2nd fret there. So you're barring the 2nd fret. And then you're covering the 4th string and the 3rd string on the 4th fret, and you're covering the 2nd string on the 3rd fret with this finger here. Okay, so ooh, la la la. slides on up to a D there. Again, it's a bar chord. Same configuration you had down here to play your C, just slide it up 2 frets. So you're barring on the 5th, and your ring finger is covering the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string on the 7th fret. And I just damped the string out again here. So, and then so let's just, what I've showed you so far is the verse. And you can just experiment with how much of that you want to mix in with actually playing the chord. I tend to hop on the strings a little bit to, you know, give it. I'm not sure what kind of sound that actually gives it. I guess a little bit fuller, maybe. It, you know, it damps it on. It doesn't let the strings ring. In other words, I guess it gives a sharper sound, a more abrupt kind of a sound. And here again. So, you know, the beginner version, this is all you really need to be doing. This would be your intro to the song, and you just keep doing this, and you start singing whenever you're feeling good about singing in front of whoever's watching. So, and then after playing the verse, so I forgot, I left something out. She could drag too much sorrow. It's impossible to make it today. No, all right, so yeah, it just goes right up into the C. B minor, la la la. She could drag me over the rainbow. And by the way, if you can't hit these highs that Neil hits, just drop an octave down. It sounds fine. So he bounces back and forth between the C and the B minor. And then he ends up on a D right before the main part of the chorus. Down by the river. Okay, so we ended up here on this D. He drops down to a G chord, it's a G major. So you're barring the whole 6 strings, and you're covering the 5th and the 4th on the 5th fret, and you're covering the 3rd string on the 4th fret. The bar is on the 3rd fret. Down by my, and he goes back up to a D. You're already, he goes up to a D, which you've already played once, and then to a chord, which is the same configuration as your G down here, just slid up 2 frets. So you're barring across the 5th fret, covering 5 and 4 string on the 7th fret, and you're covering the 3rd string on the 6th fret. So it's down by the river, I shot my baby. Down by the river. So then back to your E minor, back into the verse. So basically you run through you know, the G, D, A. You run through that 3 times while you're singing Down by the River, and then you drop it back down to your E minor. And that's pretty much the whole song. And so I'll show you some of the little things I throw in and some of the transition bits I use. So when I start, you know, Neil starts with a lot of just damped picking. He makes it sound really good. And you know, I've stopped trying to imitate what he's doing, and I just have thrown my own sort of damped strumming thing at first here. So what I do, you just want to sort of damp out these E chord, an E minor chord. So just rest your fingers on the 5th and the 4th string, 2nd fret. You want to damp out the 6th string with your thumb if you can. And I'll lay this finger down a lot of times, just a little bit, to damp out all these other strings. But every once in a while, you want to press these guys down to just catch a hint of that. So that was to the A, back to an E, and I'm not doing an E minor yet. I'm not putting my pinky on that 2nd string. And that was, I'm on the A chord, and I'm taking my pinky and I'm just putting it on and pulling it off the 2nd string, 3rd fret. I just did that with the E minor, right? And just play around with it. The other note I'd really like to introduce is this. And so what I'm doing there is I'm using my pinky to just cover the 3rd string on the 3rd fret. And so I'll bounce around between, I'll be playing the E minor and the A, and I'll bounce around while I'm doing that between, putting my pinky on and doing a pull off on the 2nd string or the 3rd string, and just experiment with it. You can listen to what I did in the cover. It's nothing special, that's for sure. Do that right before I go into setting myself up to start singing the verse, the 1st verse. I do that, and into the E minor. So that was start out with, use your ring finger to cover the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and slide it on up to the 4th. And drop your middle finger down onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and hit it. And then come back, hit that 3rd string again while you're still covering on the 4th, and do a pull off down to the 2nd fret, and then to an open fret. And then an open 4th. So, whoops. Then right into that E minor. And here you just want to start getting into more of a rhythm between the E minor and the A. Now on the A, sometimes I'll do that with my pinky on the 2nd string and start singing. In the middle, between the 2 verses, I did this little and that's just I'm replacing the E minor chord with this little riff, and go to the A. So all I'm doing is I hit an open 5th string, hammer on to a. Whoop, hang on, I cannot remember here. Yeah, so hammer on to the 2nd fret of the 5th string. So play the open and hammer on to the 2nd. Then do the same thing. Same thing on the 4th string. So again, I'm just going to have to play it here for a second. So I didn't explain that properly. Actually, that riff is taking part of the A chord time. So, and some of the E. I guess it's just part of the E. So, all I'm doing is hammering on. Hopefully that's evident, what I'm doing there. And so I do that twice, where I'm just doing that one lick and then playing through the A chord. So and I like to do that shuffle. And then I like to leave this finger here when I hit that open E, so and you can pick up that A string a little bit. It gives it a sort of a gnarlier sound. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm doing there. I'll just try to do this really slow. Yeah, and that's how I actually end this song, is on that last little riff. I'm just now looking at the monitor on my camera. I'm hoping my hands were in the screen during this time. Okay, I think that's about all I really have to say about the song. It's a great song. You just got to put a little feeling into it. And who knows what the heck it means? It doesn't sound like Neil ever really figured out what the heck it means. Anyway, good luck.